Hey everyone, good afternoon. Happy Friday. It's November 6th. Oh my goodness, we are nearly at the end of this year, 2020, that felt like it's lasted for 8 years now. I am Dr. Aparajita Jitagunta, and today we are going to be talking about whole person leadership development. What is whole person leadership? Why is it important? And why you need to, and why you get to start practicing it right now, and why it's the perfect time for this. And before I get into the whole person leadership development stuff, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're joining in live, please don't hesitate to ask any questions or share your thoughts as I go through this in the comments. I will get to them. And if you like what you see, please don't hesitate to share it with people as well. And like I said, if you are absolutely new to my lives, then my name is Dr. Aparajita Jitagunta. I am the founder and CEO of AJ Rao LLC, where we truly believe in making the invisible visible for better belongingness and for better leadership and for a better society in general. So with that, that's actually a perfect segue for me to get right into the topic for today. Whole person leadership development. What is it, and why is now the perfect time for you to start practicing it and start going on this journey? So normally, traditionally, when we think of leadership, we tend to think of leadership either as, in the corporate spaces or in our job environments of how we are being leaders, and how we are leading people in our professional spaces. Or we tend to think of leadership or being leaders in the more community serving, community facing spaces where it's about, volunteering or leading a team for a nonprofit or those sorts of things. But the thing is that all of these different aspects of our lives are still a part of our whole life. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again. The idea of this professional and personal life balance, or what's generally called work-life balance, is a myth, because work is a part of life, especially right now, especially as we work from home, which, I'm working from home, so you may get a surprise visit from my little goddess in here. I have no guarantees on this, but that's a part of working from home, right? It's understanding that work is a part of life. Work is not separate from life. We can't separate ourselves in terms of our work and everything else, because work is a part of everything else. So whole person leadership development breaks that myth. It dismantles that myth, because the harm of that myth, when you think about work-life balance, when you think about I'm one way at work, and I'm in another way at home, and I'm in, yet another way with my friends, and I'm yet another way with my community, so on and so forth. We're actually splitting essential parts of our identity. It's the idea of wearing a billion hats on our heads. We forget all of those hats go on the same head, the same body even. So whole person leadership development integrates and interconnects all parts of our lives, because how we act in one way, how we do one thing, is how we do all things. So whole person leadership development is about you being a leader in all of the spaces that you belong to, no matter what these spaces are. Because what it allows you to do is it allows you to solidify your identity. It allows you to solidify your characteristics and your traits holistically, so that you show up as the same person in all of these spaces. And what that does is it amplifies your impact, because now you are being consistent. across all of your spaces, right? So when we think about whole person development, the kind of things that, here is where the disconnect happens. Here is where a lot of leadership programs tend not to be whole person development. They tend to, again, be very cut and dry for your job role or for your community role or whatever else. But at the end of the day, did you know, and I'm sure this is a rhetorical question, if you don't know, then you're about to find out, that we have certain characteristics and we have certain behavioral tendencies that are so automatic to us because of the way we've been brought up, because of our experiences in our formalized education systems, because of how we have dealt with the struggles and the traumas that we may have faced in our lives, in our life journeys up until this point. All of that conditioning has effects on all of the different layers of the onion that we are, and a lot of leadership development talks about peeling back the layers of the onion from the outside in, right? But if you think about it, and if you think about how an onion grows, or how anything grows really, but especially an onion, since we're on this onion topic, an onion does not grow from the outside in. An onion grows from the inside out, from the bulb outward. The bulb grows into the outer layers. Now let's relate that to you. That means that your core then translates to your outer layers. Your external stuff does not dictate your inner power. Your inner power and your inner identity, your foundation, your core dictates all of the outer layers. So what are all of these layers? We have your learning styles. Are you a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner, somebody who really needs to touch and feel and write and sense things? Your learning styles are critical. You have patterns. Everybody has patterns in their learning styles. Our learning styles then dictate and influence our critical thinking and decision-making processes. This is how we quickly make decisions using our critical thinking. And these decisions are made very quickly. And again, they have patterns. That then relates to our emotional intelligence, because based on how we learn, based on how we process information, and how we absorb information from everything around us, but also from how we're feeling and what our internal feedback is, that influences our decision making, which then influences our emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is how we manage our feelings within ourselves, and how we identify and manage feelings in those around us. Our emotional intelligence, all these three things I've said so far, the learning styles, the critical thinking, and the emotional intelligence piece, then influence how we act on our internal motivations, how we act on our needs, our visible needs and our invisible needs, and what our behavioral tendencies are towards other people. Right? So there's all of these layers to you. And we know for a fact that we get conditioned to think we ought to operate in certain ways, and that we have to focus on the external stuff. But the truth is, you have to focus on yourself. It always starts with you. For you to have the impact that you want to have, whether you're in the corporate space, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a mother who's going through postpartum depression, a new mother, or whether you are a seasoned mother who is raising 4 or 5 kids, one child, 2 children, 6 kids, whatever, it always starts with you. You have to lead yourself first. And when you have to lead yourself, that's where whole person leadership development comes in, because you have to understand your whole self first. You have to make your own invisibilities visible to you so that you can appreciate yourself fully, so that you can understand your true worth. And that then can translate into your behaviors towards others, as well as the impact that you can have, that you get to have on those around you. So if you want to have any sort of impact in life, that journey has to start with you, and it has to start by looking inward, not outward. And that's what whole person development does, because whole person development looks at leadership as being the best human that you can be, first to yourself and then to those around you, to your kids, to your coworkers, to your superiors, your subordinates, to your community members, friends, family, all of it, right? And the core of whole person development is, again, building you from the inside out, or rebuilding you from the inside out using these learning styles, your critical thinking patterns, your emotional intelligence, your hidden needs, and your behavioral tendencies. Now, what are the pillars for whole person development? I'm going to talk about them very briefly here, but please feel free to text this number right here, text Inner Fire to 411-321, and you'll actually get a written guide that explains this too. Because again, some people learn better when they hear, some people learn better when they see, and others learn better when they read. So this will be captioned on my YouTube channel as soon as the live is done. And I'm talking to you about it right now, and you get to read about it. I've covered all of the 3 different learning modalities for you because I want you to develop as a full human being. Now, whole person development, getting back to why this is the perfect time for you to start practicing this, because we just went over what it is, what it entails, all of that. Why is this the best time? Well, especially given this election, in the US, and especially given 2020, especially given everything that we've been through this year, I think the one thing all of us can agree on, no matter how different any ideologies or beliefs that we have in life are, I think the one thing, actually 2 things, but they're both related. The 2 things that we can agree on, I think, are that 1, everything in life is interconnected. And we again realize that through 2020 in terms of how the inequities that, for instance, Black communities have been dealt with in the healthcare sector, how Latin, Hispanic, Latino, Latina, Latinx communities have been dealt in the healthcare sector, how that is connected to the care that they're getting, how that is connected to their exposure, their risk exposure to the COVID-19 virus, how that's connected to their life expectancy, how that's connected to the kind of care they get from doctors. We also know this even outside of COVID. It's a known fact that Black women have a higher mortality rate because there was actually a huge study done on it where doctors actually believe that Black women feel less pain than other people, which is mind-blowing because pain is a fundamental human response to trauma. But that is, again, that is a disparity, that is a myth that has been perpetuated, which then affects the care that these women receive, which potentially, costs them their life, right? And this, I'm using healthcare as an example, but please, I invite you to think about all of the other ways in which our lives are truly interconnected in all of their aspects. How our financial situation our mental well-being, our spiritual situation, our job situation, our home and family life situation, the stability of all of these and the impact we can have, they're all interconnected, and they're interconnected to you as the individual at the center of all of your spaces, right? That's the first thing. Everything in life is interconnected. And the second thing is that for us to make any kind of progress towards equity, towards stability, towards inclusion, and towards prosperity for all of us, our action, excuse me, our actions have ripple effects. They don't affect just us. Our actions affect everybody around us because we are interconnected as a society. That also means we get to collectively work together to shape our future. And that's the good part, because when we talk about whole person development, given everything that's happened, what whole person development does is it allows you to focus on you as the center point for positive impact in your spaces. So you get to focus on you. You get to focus on your mental well-being. You get to focus on your energy development and your energy management. You get to focus on your mindset, your empowerment as an individual, your leadership skills as an individual, and your leadership presence. Because leadership skills and leadership presence are completely different things. And then you get to tie all of these together to take bold actions that allow you to become exponentially visible and be exponentially impactful in meaningful, positive ways in all of your spaces. I'm actually going to use me as an example here. I know all of this, and I developed this whole person leadership development framework that I personally use because of my experiences. Because having been conditioned to be a certain way, and having been told my whole life that I ought to be a certain way, that I should be a certain way, that hey, you got to smile more because you just look angry. That was actually a comment on my live stream about cultural appropriation on Monday. I had a comment that said, I sound angry, which yeah, I'm always going to be angry about cultural appropriation, just newsflash. But the idea that somebody felt that they could tell me that I should smile more, and that my face just looks angry. These are the kind of conditioning that all of us go through, right? These are the kind of conditioning responses that all of us go through. And the thing is, we internalize them. But with whole person development, because you're building yourself from the inside out, you get to shed all of these. That's what I realized in my journey, is I shed everybody else's expectations. Why do you expect me to smile more? Why do you expect me to not make corny jokes if that's how I am naturally, if that's me being authentic? Why do you expect me to cater to your needs? Not in a service way, but just as a person in terms of who I am being. And I realized that through all of my work, I have 8, 9 speaking engagements just this month. I'm a published author at this point. I have another book deal on the way that I haven't even announced yet. I have my summit coming up, and I've won an award for being a leader in my space. And I wasn't born this way. When I was born and as I was raised, I went through all of the conditioning. I went through all of the disconnect. I went through all of, and heck, I'm somebody who even studied group dynamics and leadership and organizational culture and organizational behavior and all of these other things. I even studied them formally in grad school. I even studied emotional contagion and emotional intelligence formally in grad school. But the part that nobody tells you is that it starts with you. that you get to apply all of this stuff to you first, that you have to apply all of this stuff to you first if you want to be impactful. So, it's that age old saying, be the change that you want to see. So if you want better leadership in our society, you have to be that leader. And that starts with whole person leadership development. So whole person leadership development, the reason again that it's perfect for you to start practicing right now is you get to focus on your mental well-being. You get to focus on your energy management. You no longer have to think about, well, if I'm being assertive, am I like tapping into like my masculine energy? And if I'm like, being very relational and, storytelling type of a leader, am I tapping into my feminine energy? No, you're being yourself. Because I'm sure anybody listening to this, all of us know women who are assertive, women who are confident, and men who are incredibly good at building and nurturing relationships. Are they tapping into their masculine or feminine sides? No, they're being themselves. And whole person leadership development allows you, empowers you to be yourself and to continue to be yourself. That's what my journey helps me realize, is that when I reclaimed that power, when I said I am no longer going to subscribe to these notions from the outside, I am going to focus on my mental well-being, my energy balance and management, my balance of my learning styles with my critical thinking styles, with my emotional intelligence, with my needs and my behavioral tendencies, so that I can be the best version of me, the same best version of me, with my husband, with my child, with my family, with my clients, with my prospects, with my, corporate clients, within my speaking engagements, all of it. That's when my impact amplified. All of a sudden, people were looking at me going, oh my God, how do you do that? How do you manage to get so much done every single day? You're constantly like doing something. You're constantly putting something out. You're constantly out there and you're constantly getting noticed and recognized. And the truth is, I joke saying I have 89 projects. I don't actually, because when I delved into developing my whole person as a leader, all of the projects that I do take on, they all have the same underlying values. They all have the same underlying goals. And I get to use me, the authentic me, as a vehicle to have impact in all of those. So it's not extra work for me. That's how I get it done. Truly speaking, that's really my secret. Voila. So when I started doing this and I noticed that this is like the impact that this kind of leadership development had on me, of course, I decided to start trying it on other people, and same thing. And, whether you look at it from a spiritual sense, whether you look at it from a scientific sense, whether you look at it from a group behavior sense, which is also a different type of science, when you can ground yourself in your authentic truth and be the same person in all of your spaces, then you get to be the best version of yourself and have exponential impact, exponential visibility, and exponential increase of your impact and income and inspiration, really. And it's funny that I'm talking about all of this standing right under this, because that's exactly actually what Shakti stands for. Shakti stands for, now Shakti is the way you say it is shuck, like shucking an oyster, and ti, Shakti. It's an ancient Sanskrit word that literally means the core of your consciousness, the seat of your power. And in my case, Shakti stands for the synergy of your heart or feelings, aspirations or your dreams, and knowledge to transcend from where you are and have an impact, right? That's literally what Shakti stands for, because Shakti, this program, when you build synergy between your feelings, your dreams and aspirations, and your knowledge, you can use that to evolve and transcend and have exponentially more impact. Whole person development, whole person leadership development, rather, is about building that synergy, because you realize all aspects of your life are interconnected. You realize it starts with your mental well-being, then it goes into your energy management, then it goes into your mindset. And from all three of these, that's where you get to, once you kind of synergize these first three: mental well-being, energy maintenance and balance, and your mindset, then you get to work on your leadership skills, your leadership presence, and huge impact with bold, inclusive actions that help you and everybody around you. That's what whole person leadership development is about. And that's why this is the perfect time for you to start practicing this. Like I said, if you want more information and all of this in writing, all you have to do is text Inner Fire to 411-321, and you're going to get a free guide. You may have to check your spam or promo folder depending on your email system, but you'll get it. And I am, since Shakti has launched, I am inviting people to have conversations with me about how they can do this too, how they can develop themselves as whole leaders, who are conscientious, who are ethical, who are energy balanced, and who have balanced their lives for inclusion, for equity, for leadership presence, and all of this other stuff. So I'll give a testimonial for whole person leadership development right now. It completely changed my life. It completely changed the kind of people I attract into my life. It completely changed the kind of conversations that my friends and I have. They're so much more meaningful. It completely changed the nature of my connections with people. That anybody that's spoken to me in this past year, I'm sure you can attest to that too. And it completely made me realize how much more value I can give, because I'm able to see myself as a whole person and as a whole leader. And it truly is so gratifying. And it allows me to operate from a space of joy and not exhaustion or some kind of discontent. I've completely eliminated the misery of being overworked and underappreciated, because I don't have to, because I get to stand in my true worth every single waking moment, and probably even in my sleep. I don't remember too many of my dreams, but I'm sure it's translating there too. So again, I hope you think about this. And if you want to have a conversation about whole person leadership development, if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will put my, there it is. You can reach out to me by scheduling your discovery call right there. I will also put that in the comments. After this is done, I'd love to talk to you about this, and I would love to get you on your journey, because y'all, if you feel what I feel, every single day, the energy that I feel with this, the authenticity, the truth, the intentionality, all of it, I promise you'd come back and be like, oh my God, why didn't I try this sooner? This is it was so obvious. I should have done this sooner. It literally changed my life. And I'm sure it's going to change yours too. So try it out and let me know how it goes. Let's have that conversation and we'll see where it goes. All right. That's it for me. I will be back on Monday with another live. Bye for now. Have a wonderful weekend.